we had some echo. Let's see if we can connect. It's connecting to YouTube Live, so we can see. Good afternoon, guys. Anybody in the YouTube Live could see it? Great. One little problem. I'm getting an echo for some reason. After about a minute, after about 30 seconds, I get an echo in my ear. I don't know how to get rid of that. Let me see. If I close YouTube. So okay, if I remove YouTube from my thing, I don't get the echo. Do you guys still see it live on YouTube? Somebody give me a yes if you see it live on YouTube. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and do that. Let me start the recording here just in case. Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the weekly outlook. This is the second day of it because of the recording for yesterday. It's on YouTube Live. I hope that is recorded, and I'll just post it when I'm finished. Let's go. So dollar index, as we expected, dollar index in consolidation. We're still in this big consolidation zone. I'm expecting them to make some more consolidation here and go. Right? There is one chance where they may break the top and come back here before they go. So if you get into this buy, what you'll have to do is you'll have to put that to break even, which means you'll have to move your stop so that if they do come back, you get a break even trade, and then you actually watch for the downside, then you buy. Right? Just be aware of that possibility in the patterns. Same here with the euro. I warned yesterday, if you're selling the euro, and you should sell this, if you sold this, you got to keep a stop here and just be careful. If it's not going, if it keeps going as slow as this, move that to break even, because at some point they could go back up, retest the top, and then go down. Now, this is a complete pattern as it is, right? Part of a complete pattern or a complete pattern, which means this could actually go right down and you want to be in that trade, or the pattern could get more complex. They go back up, then come down. Either way, if the worst case scenario is you try to get out of this one for break even, you get a break even trade here, and then you go see if you get a buy setup, you take the buy. If you don't, you let it go to the top, and then you look for the sell to the downside. The entire move is still in a correction, right? Great. Okay. Pung is making a nice correction here for a downside as well, as you can see. The same option here in the Pung. We did not break the top, so this is either a contracting flat, or we are making a consolidation here to drop. This would be a very good trade. You should not miss it. Or they go back up from here, which means they just go back very slow to the top, and then we get the downside. The buy might not be a good option because you might not get a good buy if you look at it. See this? You might not get a good buy. But as you can see, if they start to fall and breaking this low, let me just bring this down here. If they fall and break through this structure, you can look for a sell setup somewhere here, right? Let's see if this just keeps going up like that and you get a buy setup, you could take it. This might not be a very great trade, but at least the worst case scenario is you try to get for break even, right? They will come to retest the top. Now, we can't say for sure which of those two options will happen. One of them is very likely because this is the correction and we don't know that it's over. Because they didn't break the top, it is always a chance that they will go and do that and then come down, or they're going to drop. In any case, if you wait for the sell and you get a sell set up here, it will be better confirmation. So if you get the confirmation, then you sell. The worst case you're going to work for is that you get a break-even trade if they're going to turn. Very likely, I think it's going to go down. I don't see them going back up. Aussie, we're looking for a sell setup, but like everything else, like we said, everything else, we were expecting this could also come back here and then go. See, breaking the structure, we're looking, is this making an expanding flat in the middle here? Go back to the top and then come. I think this is very possible. Do you have a buy setup here? No, you don't. See, it's also not a sell setup anymore because you see of the very sharp reaction to the upside. So for the sell setup, you'd want them to come back, go back up, give you a correction here, and then we go for the sell. For the buy, if you get a flag here instead of a corrective structure and they look like they're going to go one more up, you can give that a chance. Buy here when it comes to the top. take profit. As it's going up, move your stops to break even, right? Because there's a very, very good chance of this retesting the top before they come down. New Zealand, pretty much same thing. We spoke about that. This could probably be some kind of an expanding flat in here in the middle. I think it's very possible. We've got one correction here already, and there's a chance that they go back up to retest the top before you go down. This will still be one big corrective structure for downside. So it's either you get the downside now or you get it from the top. Is this enough for a sell for the downside? No. I would wait for them to come back here, go there, and if we get a corrective structure like that, then I'd look for the sell. Right now, I think we can see them going back up to the top and then come down. So watch. Right now, today, this week, we're going to see more corrections to the upside. And then later this week or maybe next week, we get a downside on this one, which means we should see the same thing here on the Swiss. Expect this to probably come back here, retest the low. See, we didn't break the low the first time around. They didn't break this. So they could come back, retest the low, then go. Is it a good sell setup? Not the best sell setup, because if you take it, you have to be aware, right? Remember yesterday I draw the patterns here. It looks like a contraction going on here. If you were in yesterday one, remember these lines were on, right? And we were looking at it possibly that it could be a contracting triangle as well. So if you're going to get a sell setup here and you're going to take this trade, you have to really be aware, because we don't know for a fact that this is not a contracting flat and this one does not go up. So if you're selling, you have to have a stop above the top. And if you're buying, you will buy when they break this stop here. Then you will start to look for a buy setup. So right now, your best thing to do is stay out of it until this this correction is finished, and then look for a buy setup. Yen, expected some more upside from where it was yesterday. They already did that. We broke this structure here. Let me just bring this in the middle again. We broke this structure. We made a higher high. They pull back. They made another higher. They're pulling back now. Now, the yen, the way it's going, we have a lot of divergence in it. In an all-time frame, we looked at it. If you look at the 4-hour and the daily, you'll see pretty much the same thing, right? We're going up very strong, but with divergence in play, which means that at some point, this will start to make a deeper correction before they go. Right? So the question, is it the deeper correction now? I don't think we're getting the deeper correction now. If you get a flag here to confirm that, this would be a good sell setup. Short term, they make it, you just watch this as it progresses down, and then you start to look for the upside. On the 1 hour, we don't have that sell setup as yet. If you were in the buy, you got it for break even, so don't worry. There was a small setup here for a sell. If you took that one, you probably want to just keep your stop here for a while. But if they go, okay. But if they spend too long here, if they start to make a deeper correction, you probably want to close the trade and look for another sell. I would rather they make a bigger corrective structure in here and then look for the sell setup. It's short-term trade. We are counter trending right now because these are all trending to the upside, right? So this trade would be kind of a counter trend trade. And so is the CAD. So CAD coming down, we're looking for the upside. CAD coming down right now, let it come down some more. I don't think you want to sell this here. And when you get this trade, you want to go. There's a chance it could go up some more, come back, and then go. So let's go into 1 hour and see if that upside is possible. There's a flag in the making here. If this confirms the breakout, if this here confirms breakout, you can take that trade one up, look for one more down, and then go. This would really, really confirm the entire structure for us. Because then we will have divergence here. But this has to go up, come back, give us divergence, and then we'll have a very good trade. So watch to see if this is going to go up, right? You may get a short-term buy today, but if it doesn't go, they're just going to crawl down very slowly. And then we'll get the upside. So you don't want to sell it right now. But if they go back up, you'll get a sell. If this goes up, then come down, you get a very nice sell setup here, right? And then you look for the buy. So if you look at all the majors, they're all in correction and they're correcting against the major trend right now. So if you're very new to trading, you may just want to relax, let it do what it has to do, and then wait for this trade in the direction of the trend. If you're not so new, which means you have experience, you're a good trader, you understand concepts, you understand the strategy of what you're going to use to trade that, you know your risk, you're pretty much have the experience to deal with that, you could take those short-term trades counter trend and then trade the trades with the trend afterwards. But all that has to, a lot of that has to do with understanding the patterns and knowing how that pattern will develop and see whether it's developing that way, all of that stuff. 200 people in YouTube watching. That's amazing. I didn't expect to have that much people in YouTube. That is good. Let's go. So if they watch it live on YouTube, they could come live in our session next time. So on silver, remember, on some platform, this candle doesn't exist. So I think we're looking for a sell setup, because on a lot of platform, we didn't see this here exist. So probably you're going to get a short-term sell. On the bigger picture, if you're not sure about a short-term sell, better to wait, because you're right now in this big consolidation. This sell, if it happens, is going to be very short-term here. And then we will start to look for upside, because by then we would be looking at this to come back one more up here before they go down. Right? So let's see how this goes. Let's see how much people we get by the end of the webinar on YouTube and how much people in here. We have 100 people in this room. So if we get the next couple hundred in YouTube, then it might be worth doing it on Mondays. Monday mornings are very slow, by the way. So gold, if you were with Harry yesterday, we said, watch this. They broke this structure. They're coming down. Not a far way to go before you get all this divergence and you start to go back up. So if I were you, I'd be looking for a buy setup in the gold. Pull this here. I expect this to drop some more. Not a big drop, so it's not a big sell setup there. It's a short-term trade. You probably get a nice one like this. Drop here, and then you can start to see them reverse. So if you take this sell, grab your profit, right? Take your profit and go, right? So if this happens, you get this here. You take the profit and you go, because they're going to go back up. They're going to retest the top. If you look at the higher time frame, you're getting a bigger structure in the making, right? And in that bigger structure, I think we're likely going to see them come back, retest this top, and then go, right? Two ways this could develop when it goes to retest the top, but I think we'll have enough time next week to talk about it. I did it more detail yesterday. We really don't have the time today to do that detail, but I showed you the possibility of retesting this top once and that top and the other top twice, right? Those are the two options if it starts to go up. We did the monthly and the weekly last week. I don't think we're going to have that much possibility to do it like that, but let's go. So if everybody wait to the very end of the webinar, I would do a poll at the end of the webinar. Let me just tell you about it now so you can wait. A poll of the end of the webinar, because I'm contemplating, we're thinking about creating a daily 15-minute or 5-minute or 10-minute video live like this, but on a single currency or a single pair or a single index or something, a single chart, which means I go live, one single chart, we do it detail, and that's it. 10, 15 minutes and we're over. If all of you like that idea, wait to the end of it and we'll poll the idea, right? So let's go. And we could do it daily. We could set a time for when it's going to happen. So Euro in New Zealand, Euro Oz. Euro Oz is doing exactly what we wanted it to do. All of you saw this. We know what we were expecting. We're expecting downside. It's either going to be a running flat. I think most likely it is a running flat. We're not expecting the expanding flat. Yesterday, if you were me, I said if it goes up, ignore the buy. Right? The same thing I said, if this goes up here, ignore that buy, because they're going to break the top and come back, break this top here and go down, right? Well, they're actually going down without that top. So if any one of you in the sell, you're doing well, right? You got to move that sell to break even, because I'm expecting this to go much, much, much to the downside, right? We're looking at a long-term structure for the downside, right? So absolutely nothing new. We're looking at this as a B wave. This is your A wave, and this could probably go down quite a lot, maybe make a deeper one and then go retest this low. Now, we will always look for them to retest the low. In this case, they don't have to retest the low if they're making a running flat, but they can come here and then go back up. The bigger trade, which will be probably in a month from now, is going to be to the upside. But first, you want this down trade, right? So have we confirmed that it's starting that downside? No, not as yet. We cannot confirm that this is the downside as yet, but I can tell you that if this is making a running flat, I've seen these patterns pretty often. This is a good trade. So if you took it, if you sold it somewhere there in the breakout there, you're actually in a good trade going down. If not, you wait for them to break the low or break the structure, break out of the structure, make a pullback, and then you start selling, right? So let's see. Euro New Zealand. This one is going down too, and I don't think this will go down very fast. We spoke about that. This might crawl its way down there. You can see all the divergence, and then it's probably going to go back up. We're not expecting this to give you the biggest correction right now, but we'll keep an eye on it to see whether it's going to happen. Two options right now. This just come back to this trend line, give you another high, and then come down back. We're looking for this impulse, that corrective structure, sorry, in there. So if they do come down all the way to here, you probably want to go with it. It's going to be very, very, very slow. Let me show you this here. See this one here? See how slow this one went? Very, 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 very slow. Each one of those is a 4-hour candle, right? Every single one of them in there is a 4-hour candle that repeated itself. You see how many 4-hour candles you had there? And you see all of this. This thing took a hell of a long time to go. If you look from the top to here, that thing, 38 days to go. That's a whole month of movement that went very, 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 very slow. So this is starting to come, and you see the divergence in there too. We're starting to come down here similar. We're in the 4-hour. We don't have divergences yet. But if this starts to do that, you're going to get something like this. And maybe for the next 2-3 weeks, you're going to be in this before you go back up. You can sell it, sure. Not the best selling structure in. But if you sell it and you stay with it for a longer while, well, yes, you get some good money out of it. Just be careful. If it changes structure. But right now, I think we're repeating that one. If I showed you in the daily, you'll probably have a better view of what we're looking at. We're looking at this to come here and then go back up. All right? You got to move up. You came down. You went up. You came down. You go back up. See? Easy. Let's see which one is going to work. Euro Yen. Okay, we're about to know the truth about the Euro Yen. Are we starting the downside or not? Still open. And until we break this low. Right? Until we break that low and make another consolidation. That's not confirmation. But like I said yesterday, if you sold it and you're supposed to sell it in here, I don't know how many of you were here yesterday and you sold that. Any one of you sold that? Nobody who was here yesterday did that. Well, no big deal if you did. If you sell that, what you got to do now is put it to break even, because there's a possibility for this to go up. Right? So that is one option. It can go up. The second option is it's not going to go up. It is actually going to keep going down, because this is complete by itself. Right? Which of those two it's doing right now, you cannot tell. We cannot tell by what we have right now because it's incomplete. But if you're in the sell, the worst case scenario in our group, if you're in the sell, we took it. And you're in the worst case scenario is you get a break-even trade. And if they start to go up and they break this structure, you buy from here going up. Retest the top, pull back, go, and then you look for downside. Right? So right now we're expecting this to happen, but there's a good chance that if this is all the correction, this one is going to continue to go. And that means we would look at this as the top of the movement. Now, this looks very much like a big flat. So I think we're very likely going to see upside. So if you're not in the sell, you probably want to wait. And if they come and break out of this structure to the upside, you're buying. If you're going to look for a sell setup, you'll have to wait for this to make another flag, a very big flag here before you go. Let's see which side they go for. So the buys will come above here. If you're looking for a sell, you're waiting for a flag before you sell. Every sell is going to be a short-term trade until we break here. See? So let's see. You're a chief. Good one. And how many of you took this trade from yesterday? How many of you were in yesterday that took that trade? Nobody? Come on. Oh, one person. That's not, I mean, we had about 200 and something people in the room, right? Very good trade setup. Let's go. Euro CAD. I think the Euro Swiss will go down some more. We showed this in details yesterday too, right? You're expecting it to first come back to this level, right? First come back to this level. And when it comes here, you're going to move that to positive. And then we will watch to see if this here is going to make one more up, or we're going to break the structure. There's a likelihood you could break the structure. See this one here, 1, 2, 3, and then they went back. So what we're looking for, the structure we're looking at is this one here. You got this move down. You got to move up, and there's a likelihood you can come down here now and then go back up. Or this one here still goes, make another one up there. Come here, break, and then go. So all in all, this would just be like a big corrective structure in here before they go back. And it's not like these pairs don't do that. These pairs made structure like that before. Nothing new. If you were looking inside here, I think I can show you one in here. Let me see if I can go back. Very similar type of structure where, they got these big consolidations. And if you're looking at this here, right? See those big consolidations, and then they go look at this piece, for example. They made this, then they made 1, 2, 3, pull back lower, and then they go. So you're getting those very huge consolidations, and we're in a huge consolidation here right now. So we've got an up move. I think this is already part of this consolidation here that will come back and then go. So let's see. Wait for that trade. Right now, if you're in this sell, good for you. When it reaches the trend line, when it goes to this break this low, you start not necessarily the trend line, but once it breaks the low, you want to move into profit. Right now, if it depends on where you enter, you can put break even, let them come. Break the low, you move into profit because they can go back up. If they keep falling, you're good, right? You don't have to worry about that. Euro CAD. I think now you'll be able to pull this one. We're breaking. Let me take this out. Sorry. I showed you this structure yesterday as a possible expanding flat. So what you're looking for, what you probably wait for if you're not in this trade, is wait for a flag here and then start selling it. They do make those corrections. See that? They make those corrections. So you wait for one of that correction here and then you start selling it to break the low. Right? So this would be your next trade for the next 2 weeks. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Go back to the 1 hour now. They'll probably start making a correction here. Now, this might take a couple of days, and then you're going to look for the trade to the downside. Right? Euro pound, go to the daily. We're in a big sideways move. And remember what we said, there's a possibility of this one coming back to the top here before they fall. That is a possibility if you're making an expanding flat. If you're making a contracting flat, and a running flat in this case, because we broke this low, if you're making a running flat, then they don't have to go there. This is all they can go, and we can be going down, right? Remember I said that this is all it can go, and you might be going down. So if you took this sell here, which is a sell setup you could have taken, you got to put this to break even right now. This is just like the Euro Yen. You have to put that to break even and watch to see if they go back up. If they just keep going down, great. You're in a good trade and it's a long-term trade. You will keep that as a long-term trade when you break this low. Until they break that low, we always have that possibility of them going back, retesting the top, and then coming down. It is still long-term downside. I'm still in that long-term trade to the downside, right? If you remember that one. Pound Oz, same here. Possibility of them testing that top. Looking at this 1 hour. I don't think you have a sell setup here as yet because this is a sharp move up, right? If they're going to pull back to go or they're going to pull back to go down, you probably want to be in the trade. So you wait for this to make an impulse, make a correction. You will take this trade down, put that to break even. If they go back up like this, you get a break even trade. You look for a buy setup here. If you take this trade, you put it to break even and they keep dropping, you're in a good trade. You don't have to worry about that, right? That will go for a long time. This will be a long-term downside trade. The longer-term trade is to the downside after this entire correction. This correction could still come here and then go down. See? So is it going down from where it is right now, or is it going to the top and then come back? You don't have to worry about that. You just trade the pieces as you go. And if you're on the right side of the trade to the downside and this one starts to go down, you will get a good trade. Worst case scenario, you get a break even, you wait until it goes up, and then you start selling. Pound New Zealand, this looks like a better sell setup right now. And we broke the top on this one, so we don't have to worry about this going anywhere up. In the daily, we already broke the top, see? So this could be a complete structure right now. 1, 2, 3, and that means this here could come down. Doesn't mean it cannot go up anymore. It means it will come down. If it goes up anymore, it will come down, right? So from where is it coming down? Here's what you're going to do. Go to the 1 hour, and we'll make an assumption that it's coming down from here, right? So what you'd want them to break this, make a small flag, and you start trading, right? If they keep going up and break the top, you wait for them to break to the downside. The buy is not a good idea. Pound Chief, we're correcting a little more up. The correction is getting a little sharp, but that would not stop the sell setup if you get it. So which means if they break, give you a little flag, you sell. This is long-term downside, and we broke the top already. See? So if you look at all the pound pairs daily correction, the pound New Zealand and the pound Swiss broke the top. The pound Oz still haven't broken the top, but it could go down, not as a structure there. If the pound Oz is going to go break the top, this one is likely going to come back here and then go. So you can look for that sell setup there. When it comes to the low, they can go back one more and then fall, right? Just making this one a little more complicated. Like this, for example. See this? One more down, and then they go up. 1, 2, 3, like this here. See this piece here? Made 1, made 2, and then they go back and they came down. So we get 1. If this comes back to the low here and then go back up, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, and then down, right? So it really doesn't matter. Four hour and 1 hour. If you guys keep all your questions at the end, we will leave some time for questions after we close the recording, because we really don't want to make this very long, right? Look for a sell setup here. Pound Yen, absolutely, we're looking for a sell setup. We already spoke about this yesterday. A lot of our traders are already in this sell from the top here, and they're holding it for a while. I think if you look at the 4 hour, you can see that structure. We've got a nice move down, got a nice correction, and we're looking for more downside. This one is simple. Look for sell setups. Can this go up some more? Maybe. I'm not interested in the buy. Pound CAD, you can look for a sell setup here too. I remember this is pretty flat, so you can look for a sell setup if it breaks. If this goes up, you don't have a buy setup. It's not a buy from where it is right now. Aussie New Zealand, if you take any sell setup, it will be short term. You can take the trade, take your profit. This at any point can go back up. If they break through the structure, well done. You will keep that trade. If you take the trade and it breaks through the structure, keep it, because we're expecting this to come here eventually. Either they go back up there and then come down, or they come down from where they are. We're expecting them to come back to this low, right? Sorry, this low. Break this low and go. We're not expecting a sharp move down. So the move down, if you sell, it could be very, 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 very miserable, which means they're going to come as slow as possible. We don't think they're going to make very sharp move down. So is that the start of the downside? No proof of that as yet. This looks more like a correction. Sorry, correction for upside and then down. Or a very slow move, and then they give you a flag here and then they drop. Right? More of a correction, not a flag, and then they drop. So let's see which of those two options will go. Aussie CAD, correcting as we expected. So you probably get a nice correction here and you look for a sell. Some of our traders already in this from the top. So you can get your sell setup forming right now. See that? So you can wait for that sell setup. And this is, we were expecting this to go down much more because we've just completed this flat here in the daily. I showed you that last week and I showed you yesterday, and I think this is coming down, right? So last week before it broke the top, we were saying let it go up, break the top. Let this go up, break the top. I drawed all the patterns inside for you guys. I showed you 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're expecting this to go. So wait for a consolidation here and then look for the drop, right? Weekly view of Aussie CAD. Why you want a weekly view unless you're a long-term investor? That is only why you need the weekly view. But the weekly view is already showing you possible downside, right? So How far can this go? I really don't want the traders to think that this is going to come here in a straight line, right? So a weekly view may be dangerous because look, this one did come down to the bottom here, right? But you got to look at all of these pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. So you take it one piece at a time. It comes here, it could go back up. Come here, they could go back up. Come here, they could go back up. They come here, they might eventually get here. So you trade the immediate impulse you're about to get. The immediate impulse you're about to get will be this one. One more drop here. See, this is a consolidation. After they make a consolidation like that, this is a consolidation here. See that? What they do is they drop. After they make a consolidation in here, I want you to see that. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you can see. Let's take this piece, for example. You had this move down. You had a consolidation in there, and you get a drop. You have this piece here. You get a consolidation in there. You're looking for one drop. That's your trade. And then you want to get the hell out of it because they can make another consolidation. And then you get another drop. They'll probably do something like this. And you get another drop. So if you have the patience to wait for that, you get this trade here. Right? So we're waiting to see whether we're going to get that trade. I think we've seen the consolidation already. We're looking for the downside. See? So it's a little weird, but if you know when, if you understand when to trade it, you don't have to trade when all of this. You trade when this is happening. And then you're on the right side of it. Yen, stay out of it. You can't buy it until we break out of the structure, which would be this to the upside. Because we'll need that confirmation. And you can't sell it until it break out of this big structure. Because we don't know which direction this thing is going right now. Just to show you it. It could do this and then come down. And it could as well do that. So wait until you get confirmation for the buy. The buy is a couple hundred pips. The sell will be a couple thousand pips. We're expecting a buy could be like this. For example, if you look at this one, the buy could be like that right now. Or the sell could be like this. Right? Which is it going to do? Wait and see. So let's go back to the 1 hour. And you don't have a trade until this actually does something. If they make a very nice flag in here, like, you know, like something like this, and give you a trade setup, then you can take it from there to the downside. But as it is right now, no idea. Don't try to trade it. Wait for something more in here that confirms one side or the other. Aussie Chief, same. You're in this big sideways move. Put it in a 4 hour so you can see it. Huge sideways move there. And every time they make something like that in the middle or something like this in the middle here, they drop, right? So you're getting this move down and you're getting something like that in the middle. If they drop out of this structure, you're going to look for that trade. And maybe that trade will come lower. But wait until they come out of the structure. So let's go into 1 hour. We're still inside. Stay out of it. Once they're inside, they can make more consolidation. Make it much more complex. New Zealand Yen, stay out of this. New Zealand CAD, not much to get here. Like I said, if they're going to go down, it's very small. If they're going to go up, you might get a trade. Let's see in the daily. This is where you are on the daily in this, right? You've got a three-wave structure. We're coming up, right? This is an up trade. You got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're making 1, 2, 3. So the question is this the 1, 2, 3, and we start going up? Or do we have one more down here? We can roll up to the top there, come back here, and then go, making some kind of a bigger structure. So let's look. We know there's possibility for them to come back here or to go up. So you go to the 4 hour. And then the 4 hour, this is showing us right now that this could likely break out of this structure here and go up. Right? Break this top and then go back down. So let's go to the 1 hour. 1 hour right now is not giving us any clue because we did break this low. We should go back and break out of this structure here, this big structure we have there, but it's not going as yet. So until and unless we break out of this here, we don't have a buy setup. You would have to let this go, break out, pull back, and then you start buying that one up. That will be a short-term trade, but a nice trade because it's going to happen pretty fast and they'll break this top. And then we'll start to look for the downside. right? So as you stay here now, watch this is going up. You got an impulse there. You got to pull back. You could get another one like this, and then you start to look for the downside, right? Let's go. New Zealand Chief. Same here. Don't go in the buy until you break out, because like we said, if they do this, you're looking for the sell setup, right? If they break out to go, well, then you would look for the long-term trade. When you break out and you make a correction there, you'll be looking for a 4-hour correction before you go. If you guys keep your questions to the end, you'll probably get an answer. If you type them now, by the end of this webinar, I will not see the questions. You'll have to retype. CAD Yen coming up, same thing. All the New Zealand pairs and some of the yen pairs are showing you that possible upside, right? So you may want to look at New Zealand yen for an upside trade. So watch this here. If they break out, we go. If they drop from here, we get one more low, right? I think they will probably break out first. So you may want to look for a short-term up trade. Let's look at a 1 hour. Nothing here. You're still in the uptrend. If you pull a trend line like this, you'll be in the uptrend. So if this makes more correction here, you look for a short-term trade to this level. And if you break out, that's a good one. If they stop and come back here, make a flag, then you look for that sharp trade to the downside. This falls here, you're not getting a big trade until you get the flag. So you still have to wait for that flag, like more like this. You let them fall, make a flag, and then if you sell here, you can either take it off and wait for this to finish or stay in the trade, and then you get this trade, right? See that coming down? So you probably get something like that. I think we're going to get a drop. It's looking more like a fall coming. CAD Chief, stay out of this. Yesterday, I was explaining that even if it breaks this trend line, it doesn't mean anything. We're likely going to get one more downside. They could even come retest the top. So right now, I don't see any trade set up here. If they break this top, it's a very short trade. Probably not worth taking unless there's a big fundamental news that could give you a lot of momentum to push it up. If the momentum is not coming, stay out of it. Copper. So yesterday we were talking about this possibility to happen, but we would like it to break this top. So if you're getting the buys, you'll have to be careful about taking it. And if you take it, you want to get break even, because after they've done 1, 2, 3, they can come back down, right? So we spoke about that potential pattern that could happen there. If you look at it in the 4-hour, after they completed this whole big one here at the top there, they would likely start to come down back to this level. So you would probably want to look for a sell from somewhere here, right? Rather than go for the buy, which you can take if you think you have the skill level to get out for break even. It could still go up some more. They may go slow, but go up some more. And then you start to look for the sell setup, because what you're looking at is a possible ABC structure in the making. An A, a B, and a C, and then downside, right? So the buy itself might not be that interesting. The sell is the most interesting one. US oil, it's going up, but if you look at the big picture of it, they made a move up, they pull back deep. You got a very small one there. They had an internal here also. You're going up, so either you wait for them to pull back here and then buy, or wait for them to pull back to this trend line and then buy, right? So we can pull both trend lines. Why pull back to the trend line? Because you'll not be buying at the trend line or near to the trend line. You'll be buying when this pattern here is complete, when that pattern there is complete. So if they come back here, the pattern would likely do something like this, very close, near to, on a little break of the trend line, doesn't matter. Somewhere around here, you'll get a pattern that will go back up. If you see that, you take the trade. If you get a sharp drop and you get a flag, if they make it first, instead of doing that, they give you a sharp drop at any point in this trade. If they give you a sharp drop and they do something like this, well, then you're coming to this level before you go back up, right? So what is it doing right now? Let's go back to the 1 hour. I just want you to see the structure in the bigger one. Right now, you may be getting a short-term sell setup. You'll have to be careful because this could just drop like this, go back up, drop, go back up, right? So if you take the trade, put it to break even. And if you're lucky and this is the bigger drop, you'll get a correction and drop some more, right? Because you're going back to one of the trend lines if this is the one going down. I do think you can get something like this and then up. So let's see if they give you that correction. If you want, you can wait for the correction to finish. and then buy it. UK oil, same thing. Wait for the corrections and then buy. Don't buy when it's at the top. Natural gas, actually, we're looking for it to make a flag and go, but then it just gapped up. So I told you either stay out of it until it's ready to fall, which is you stay out of it until they do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you do 1, you made the 2, let them finish the 3 here, and then you're looking for that trade down. That should give you the bigger one. See? This is what you're looking at. That's your move down. That's your move up. This is your move down. You want 1, 2, 3 in here. You want to move down. You want to move up, and then you want to move down. See? Would it do exactly that? I don't know, but that's the simplest form of the corrective structure we're looking for. Can it get much more complex than that? Well, we will see as it develops. As it's developing step by step, we will see how that simple structure changes into something more complex. And because we understand how each part of that structure should look like, we will be able to make forecasts based on what we have today. Same like we said, watch this, is probably going to go back up. Now, if you were buying it, if you had an entry order, you're in the trade. If you didn't have an entry order, you probably wait for it to pull back, and then you get another move, a shot to the upside, or stay out of it until you're ready to get this down trade, which would be a better trade, which until you're ready to make this trade down, and then that trade up. And if this continued to go, good for you. If not, you come back here, and then you get that trade up. This, and all in all, will be a big corrective structure in here. Not that we haven't seen structures like that before. The only reason we're forecasting that is because we've seen that 1,000 times, right? That's how we see how structure develops. S&P 500 going up slowly but surely. You do have a lot of divergence in the whole chart. So if you look at how this entire thing move here, let me pull a line so you can see something. We can even pull a line from here so you can see. This might be a better one, right? They move, they pull back to this line, pull back to this line. They make attempts to pull back to the line, pull back, and then they give a deeper correction. So we pull back. There's a chance you're waiting for this pullback. If you want to buy, wait for that pullback. Don't buy at the top, because that could become the top. With divergence in play, that could become the top. So if you buy here, hoping that this is going to grow forever, you're playing with luck, hoping that it's going to happen. But if you wait for it to finish whatever it's doing here and then drop to this level and then start to back, instead of buying it here, you will buy it here. And that's a huge difference. Instead of buying for 2005, you buy for 2004. And now you have more confidence of this going up to 2008, 2009. And that would be your good trade. First, you're buying at the low. You're buying it where the lows are. You're buying it when it comes back to the low. This has moved quite a lot. So I think right now we're about to see that pullback. It's easy, right? It's not that difficult understanding how structure develops. So if you're there and you look at it, you say, should I be buying right now, right? And I'm thinking, nope, not really. Look what's happening here. That's telling me soon they're going to get a fall. So do you want to catch that move to the downside? It's not going to go in one piece. It's probably going to 3 pieces, 5 pieces, 7 pieces. Not how this, it's going to be regular, flat, expanding, flat, running, flat, contract. I have no idea what it's going to be right now, but it's going to be a correction. So what you can do is you can start looking for sell setups. Put an entry order and leave it alone. You buy, but you put an entry order for a sell when you're out of your buy. Because if this, you wake up tomorrow and this is like this, or the New York market open and I don't know what happens. I'm not, I'm not magician. I'm just doing forecast. Something happens in the world and this app drops here. You can take profit immediately because they're going to go back up. And then they'll drop again. And then they can go back up. And then they can drop again. And then they'll start to go back. Right? All in all, this would look something like one of those smaller corrections you had before. One of those bigger corrections. Here's a good one. This is how this one went down. It dropped. You take profit. It goes back up. If you manage to take a drop here and you take out profit because it's not good, it drop again, you took profit, it goes back up, it drop again. Take profit, it goes back up. Now, whether or not you catch that last piece, not important. You already got profit on 1, 2, 3. And now you look for this break to buy that one going up. See? So basically how they're going to repeat that, they're going to drop very fast and then go back up. Nothing new. I'm not even going to go into this big one, right? I'm not even going to go into this big drop here, right? So if you had an entry order here, they drop, you take profit. They go back up, you do the same thing, they drop, you probably get break even there because you wouldn't take profit here. You'd wait for them to come here to take profit, you get break even. They come back, you sell here again. They go, they put, if you get break even in that trade, you look at this whole structure here and you say, you know what? I'm going to put the sell here again. Drop, you get that. So now you get 1, 2, 3, and now you start to look for buys. So a few of them you're going to get break even because they're still going in the direction of the sell. So you're hardly going to lose. You're going to get break even trade because they pull back deep, and if your stop is above the top, you're okay, right? So that is the same thing you can do here. Now, how much or where is your broker going to take you in on that entry order? I can't promise you, because if your slippage is huge, you might be eating away all the profit you're supposed to get, right? Instead of your broker taking you exactly there, they take you, I don't know, $50 less, and then it moves $100. You only get $50 out of it. You will have to take profit. That depends on how your broker is honest and where he's going to take you in on the trade. DAX going up, I think they can go some more. You're making a consolidation here. So you can likely get one more, and the 270 is right there. So, at that point, you'll want to be careful because, you take profit. You should take profit on each one of these. Don't keep them because you don't know when it's going to drop. We broke the top already, and that means the pattern in the daily is more or less fulfilled. We broke this top already. The pattern in the weekly is more or less fulfilled. So if you go to the weekly, you'll see. This one went up, this went up, we're going up. So at some point, right, we broke that top there. So at some point, this also will start to come down for a deeper correction. Is it at that level? Not necessarily there as yet. So they can still go some more. Still some more to the 270 target, which has a 90% of getting tagged. And then they can continue to go some more. But on the bigger picture, they will make a pullback like this. So you probably wait for them to come, make a pullback, and then you buy from the lows going up. One second. If you guys keep your questions, I'll come to all the questions. Let's just finish the webinar first. Nifty, for those who traded, we have a lot of traders. Now you got to be careful, right? Because the same thing here, a lot of divergence. You're expecting one of this bigger pullback too, right? See, they make that move. They make that move. This was more of a small pullback. They go, they can give you that bigger pullback and then go again. So if you're in the trade, you just move your stops and stay with it until you start to get that bigger pullback, right? You move your stops and stay with it. Let's go. Let's do some cryptocurrencies for those who are looking. Bitcoin. You're getting some correction here. I think this looks more like a corrective structure. You can see this. More like an expanding run flat. So you could get one more push. Take profit. You're going to get divergence here. Take profit. They come to around the 8,000. Take profit. Don't stay with that for a long time. Wait until they pull back. Let's go to the daily so you can see it. Wait until this pullback. If you're going to go in it, let's take this out. If you're going to go with this, wait for it to pull back and then buy again, right? Wait for that pullback. This is a small pullback in here. This is not the big one we expect like this. So wait for that big pullback. If they give you a small one and you buy here, if you get a small one and you buy, wait for a deep pullback and then buy. When it breaks the top and come here, take profit. It's not going to go up forever. I was explaining that in my group today, what causes that to go up. The only reason that thing is going up because there are more people willing to invest into it, more people willing to buy into it. It's not creating any profit, right? If you understand how this moves, it's classical. As long as there are more willing people to say, I'm willing to buy, the price will go up. At some point, that ends, where people are saying, we're willing to buy to this price. And when that ends, the bigger, very big investors who know what they're doing, who are actually jacking the price up, who are actually pushing it up, they will get out first. You will wake up one morning and your coin is worth, I don't know, $100 from 8,000, 7,000, maybe, I don't know, $1,000. That should not surprise you, because that is the moment when fear steps in and everybody realizes, holy Christmas, everybody is selling. I got to sell right now. You may go to the exchange to sell and they will tell you our site is down. They will only do that after the bigger boys, the people who are actually interested in this thing going up, who are going to make money in it, are out of the market. Now, they may be the ones who are moving this price so much, and they are attracting you. They're dragging you to do the same. It's a typical thing. It's not new. It has happened with many, many bubbles before. Just go read about them. Read about all of them, and you will see who were the losers in those games and who won. Because remember, the money doesn't disappear. You're putting your money in there, right? So there's an accumulated sum of money that is just accumulated. That money is not manufacturing anything. That money is not creating profit. It's just being accumulated in an account. Your question should be, who the hell is owning that account? Do you want to be the person owning the Bitcoin in your Bitcoin safe, in your Bitcoin purse? Or do you want to be the person owning the account where all those money are accumulated? And think again. When that happens, the guy who accumulates all the useless money that he's telling you is useless, which is your euro, your dollar, and all of that you think is pretty much useless, so you give him for the Bitcoin. Why the hell is he taking it? Interesting question, right? Why the hell is he taking my euro and my dollar if he knows that they're useless and Bitcoin is the future? Why is he not putting his money in Bitcoin instead? Who are the people selling the Bitcoins? Who is collecting the money? Where is that USD and euro accumulated? Whose account? Definitely not yours. And you know why? You have no idea. You have no idea. That is why it's not going to be in your account. It's going to be in the guy who knows the value of the dollar and the euro and knows what is the real value of Bitcoin. Those people will get rich pretty fast. When their greediness is over, when they think they've accumulated enough, or when somebody decides to check in on them, or I don't know, the feds or somebody decide to figure out what's happening here and investigate it, it's going to all drop. And when it drops, so is the value of your Bitcoin. This thing happened many, 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 many times before. It's not new. It's just using a new technology to create another scheme. It is not new. And people have made money in those schemes. Don't think that all bubbles and all Ponzi scheme, nobody make money. People make money. A lot of people make money out of them. But the majority of people lost their money. Now, which side are you on? You can make money in this. The question is, which side are you on? Are you on the smart side that will take your money and keep it with you and buy and sell the Bitcoin very fast? The shortest time span, I will keep Bitcoin. The longer time span, I want my dollar and my euro in my account. Right? Hey, JR, you can get the hell out of my room. You don't tell me what to do in here. And if it's BS, then you get the hell out of here right now. I can remove you. Let me just do that for you. I'll save you the time of leaving. I'll just remove you, right? Show you what I can do in here. Out you go. Don't like what I do? Anybody else don't like what I say or do here? You can take a minute and get the hell out of here. Right? That's my power. Remove you from the room. See? So you don't get to tell me what I do in my room or what I say in my room. If you don't like what I do or say, you can go. That's it. Let's go. I'm telling you what is right. If you don't like it, hey, you have a choice. You don't know that? Anybody doesn't know you have a choice? One crazy fella is telling me what to do, that I should stop talking about Bitcoin and continue. Right? I tell him what to do. I throw his ass out of my room. Yeah, I don't care if it's a troll. I just throw him out. It's just you know, this is my room. I give you my views, what I see. These are my views. These are how I see things. This is what I'm warning you. And if I had warned a lot of traders before of a lot of things, a lot of them will not lose their account. And I know a lot of them come to me who lose their account. We will see the day when that comes. Let's go. What else you guys looked at? It will happen. Don't worry. With a lot of people will cry in the streets. We will all see them. After losing, they do understand. The poll, yes. Let's do the poll for the daily webinar. So I'm going to run a poll very fast. Let me create the question. How many of you are interested in that? And give me the time. So how do we put the time in? What time you guys want me to do it? So I'll put daily webinars. Remember, these will be only on one pair, right? Any pair, I'll just randomly pick a pair, right? So I'll just ask you to give me the time. I guess everybody wanted yes or no, and then the time, right? So multiple choice, YES, yes, and your time, whatever time you want. I'll give you the time I can do them. Yes, 4 p.m., which is exactly now, so you can do for the next day. Yes, I think we can do them early in the morning. Let's see about, I do my webinar at 11, so I can say 10 a.m. These are all Moscow times, right? Moscow time. So I'll put so you can get it in Moscow time. And no, not interested, right? So you have 3 choices. And save, and I'll poll. We give you all the options. I'll launch the poll. Just vote. It's going to be a single chart. It's going to be live on YouTube, and it's going to be very quick. 5-10 minutes, and I'll take some questions. Yes, that will not affect the weekly outlook. The weekly outlook is once a week. That is on everything. This is just on a single chart of the day. Let's say chart of the day. Like, I think if I have to do one today in a chart, I'll probably do one on the Aussie dollar. Give you more in-depth analysis on the Aussie dollar and the trade you're looking for. I will try to choose a chart that has a trade setup coming the next day or the day after. Yeah, we can choose stocks. It's not going to repeat, so we can choose stocks. Yeah, it's going to be live on YouTube. So after the live one, same thing here. I'll open this one, put it live. It's going to be on this one and live. So I'll give you a link an open link that repeats daily. You can either join through this link or you can join through YouTube Live. No, I have a way of dealing with them. I just throw them out of the room like I did with the one just now. Exactly. I hope he doesn't come back. These guys have a lot of time to waste. I don't go to anybody webinar that I'm not interested in, right? Nobody does that unless you have time to waste. Okay, let's go. I think everybody has voted. Let me see, 99. We have 100 people in the room, and 88 of 10 of you have not give your views yet, so I'll assume you don't want to. Let's go. Okay, so I'll end the poll. 91 people have already voted, so just like about a few of you left. I'll just end the poll right now. I think we've got enough. We've got a majority. And share the result. So it's going to be 4 p.m. daily. If one day or so, for whatever reason, I can't make it, I'll let you know. So it's going to be 4 p.m. daily. I think I will start it from not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, maybe from Friday, because this week I already scheduled 2 marathon for my group. That is, what is a marathon? You might not know. That's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We do practical sessions with all my traders. Each one of them has a 20-minute practice session with me. So it's scheduled for tomorrow and for Thursday. So most likely this daily webinar will start somewhere on Friday, but it will go on after that on a daily basis. Right? I guess that should help you guys get a trade at least within the day that comes. It will be a special, one that gives you a day. So let me stop the recording. And we probably stop the YouTube live. Stop.